Hey, Tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Today's episode of the Tourpreneur podcast is kindly sponsored by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. This month, Checkfront is offering an exclusive 90-day free trial for tourpreneurs. Find out more at checkfront.com/tourpreneur.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
Hello and welcome to episode 124 of Tourpreneur. Today, we are going to introduce the 30-day Things to Do challenge for tour operators that we're running in association with our friends at Checkfront. I'm really excited for this one. Welcome to the show, Angela Heel, Director of Marketing. Hello, Angela.
Hi, Shane. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Welcome back to Tourpreneur, Kyla Steves, who is a content marketing specialist at Checkfront. Hi, Kyla.
Hi, Shane.
And big welcome to Ryan Lanchbury, who is making his debut on the podcast. Ryan is the training manager at the technical support team at Checkfront. Welcome, Ryan.
Hi, Shane. Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So we have a 30-day challenge, and I was really excited to find out about this when Angela and I were talking about it, because one of the things that I have heard from our listeners, members of our community, is two things. First of all, a serious overwhelm, because many of us over the last 6, 7, 8 months have been on webinars. We've been attending virtual events, been reading lots of books. Some of us have gone on courses, and we all have a stack of action notes. But many of us are feeling very guilty because we haven't got to that to-do list and actually implemented what we've learned. The other thing I'm hearing as well from many tourpreneurs is a lack of motivation, because let's be honest, the hits keep on coming, right? Europe is now into a second lockdown. US cases are up. I'm not sure what the numbers are like in Canada, but it just seems that every day is a blow for the travel industry, and many of our listeners just feel defeated. So I was excited to find out that you'd set up this challenge, Kyla, because it gives us something proactive to do, doesn't it? Something that is under our control. Where did this idea come from to actually launch a 30-day challenge?
Yeah, so the idea behind the challenge it was inspiration for my own life, where it's been a really crazy year and we're coming to the end of it. And thinking back, there were a lot of things that I wanted to do that I didn't get around to do. And I understand that for tour and activity operators, what you initially set out to do might have been completely derailed because of the pandemic. But the thing is, it's the end of the year. It's not too late to catch up on your to-do list and head into 2021 feeling good. That's why we decided to create this 30-day Things to Do challenge for tour and activity operators, where every day there will be one small task for you to complete that'll make a positive improvement on your business. The restrictions from the pandemic have really turned a lot of travel experiences businesses on their heads, and the amount of information being fed virtually might be leaving you feeling overwhelmed, as you said, Shane. So everyone's telling you to do this and that to stay afloat. So how do you keep up with it all? So we wanted to provide some tactical, small wins you can do easily in a couple hours or less. And don't worry, there are some fun tasks designed to lift your spirits too. And we want to do this challenge through the month of November, live with the tours and activities community before we all turn our focus to the holidays.
Absolutely. And when I heard about this idea in this challenge, I also thought, well, let's do something radically different on the podcast in order to help members of our community that want to complete this challenge. Let's release, wait for it, a daily podcast, which is something we've never done on the show before. And I felt it would just be a good idea as you send out the challenge for the day, as I understand how this works, for those who sign up, and it's completely free to sign up. You get an email from Checkfront every day with that day's challenge. And I thought, well, cool. You can also listen to your favorite podcast and hear us discuss the challenge as well as something to help encourage our listeners as we go through the 30-day challenge. There will be some of our traditional episodes going out. So we do actually have a Meet the ResTech Checkfront edition that's scheduled to go out next week as well as our normal programming. But what I will say to our listeners is if you're not taking part, don't unsubscribe from the show. Just swipe delete for the daily podcast. All you've got to do is just swipe that in your app and that'll be, you don't have to listen to it. But I know most of you will want to get on this challenge. I know, Angela, when we mentioned this in our Tourpreneur Facebook group, we got a lot of really positive feedback to the idea.
Yeah, Shane, I think you kind of said it perfectly when you said people are overwhelmed. We all moved to this virtual style of education and interaction, and it's really just distracted us. And so I think that the challenge is going to resonate because it is very actionable, very tactical, and it is small movements, which I think those compound and will leave everybody with a really good feeling at the end of the month.
Yeah, this isn't, these tasks, I've looked through them. It's not like get to number one in Google for your search ranking. It's not take 100 photographs for your tours. I mean, these are actionable, practical things that we can do during these 30 days. So looking at the 30 days, there's a couple of rules that you had here. So you say, do it in whatever order you like. You can even play blackout bingo. What did you mean by that?
I just meant that if there was something that you wanted to do first, you can go for that first. Like, you can just make it more fun by doing the tasks in whatever order you like. Because we're doing it live on Tourpreneur, it's actually a better idea to follow along in the right order.
Yes.
Yeah, because we will be discussing the task at hand here on Tourpreneur every day.
As I said, you'll be sending out emails to people's inboxes with resources for that day to help as well. And I think you say here to have fun with it. And I think that's an important thing as well. I think this, for tour operators who complete the 30 days, they're going to be really set up well for 2021, aren't they, Kyla?
Yeah, I think it's just doing small little things every day kind of gets you back into the habit of doing these useful things for your business. And it just, hopefully this will just give you the motivation to keep at it, one small task at a time.
Absolutely. And what I will say to those of our listeners who, for whatever reason, are unable to take part in the challenge in November, you might want to do this in January next year. And whilst I urge you to try and do it in November, because we'll be sharing things in the Facebook group and on social about that day's challenge. If you can't do it in November because of other commitments, then maybe in January you can go back, sign up now, get the emails, get the PDFs, and you can come back. The magic of podcasting is that this podcast doesn't disappear. These episodes will be around, in January, February, March next year if you wanted to do it then as well. So although we really want you to do this in November, it will be there for future months. So anything else to share before we get into day one?
Yeah, this is going to be a really fun challenge to do, to follow along with. So if you want to share your progress, feel free to do that on Instagram or Twitter. Just use the hashtag Tour Operator Challenge and we'll share it on Checkfront too.
Marvelous. And also to sign up to the challenge, you can go to tourpreneur.com/challenge. That will take you through to the intro and day one show notes, and you can sign up for that there. Again, I want to reiterate, this is free. And also, you don't have to be a Checkfront customer to take part. As long as you're a tour operator. There are a few days in this, I think it's fair to point out, that are about working with your booking software, whoever you're using. And if you're not working currently with the booking software, then you just skip those days. But there's going to be things in here, even if you don't have booking software. So day one, organize your booking dashboard.
Yeah, so day one is all about, for the 30-day challenge is to get organized on your booking dashboard. The challenge really came from a lot of feedback that we heard from operators around the world about how busy things can get, once things get picked up on the front desk. their first instinct is often to get, multiple tabs open or set up lots of bookmarks. I've heard one customer even setting up bookmark folders for each staff name so they could see all the tabs they need to open up for the day. But those that spent a little bit of time to get the most of their dashboard found that they can avoid common issues such as context switching. So having tons of tabs open causes this issue where you might lose track of where you are. So you can free up some time, provide a little bit of stress relief, and know that you're prepared as guests arrive for the day.
You talk on here with the day one challenge about best widgets to include. Can you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of different widgets to use, and lots of different booking systems offer hopefully around the similar widgets. Some of the ones that I find, a specific feature that I find is super helpful for our operators is having an account specific dashboard. So if you as an admin log in, you may want to see more reports around, booking volume or individual booking actions that have happened, such as a booking log, or more revenue-based things like a booking volume or bookings by month. Whereas your staff members might need to have a separate one more around intake or helping people with on the phone. So like a customer calendar or an inventory calendar.
And I think it's fair to say, so for many of our listeners right now, we're not taking bookings because we're in lockdown and because of the pandemic, but now is still a good time to actually look at your dashboard and say, okay, if I was taking bookings, if this was peak season, how would I want my dashboard to look? Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And again, there's lots of different widgets that are available, and each tour operator might have some specific workflow. So explore the widgets that are offered in your booking dashboard if you have one, or just the apps as well that you might use. If you're not using a booking system, you can always look at just some of the apps and look at the individual dashboards to make sure that those are optimized.
Brilliant. So we'll see you on day 2.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.